स्टूडेंट्स, वेलकम टू आसान नेटवर्क। आज हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं द लिविंग वर्ल्ड चैप्टर, जो बायोलॉजी का क्लास 11 है। वी आर डिस्कसिंग थ्रू द NCERT बेस्ड टॉपिक एंड वी विल डिस्कस द प्रीवियस ईयर MCQs. So let's begin the first class. Okay, so I am Dr. Salauddin, MBBS MS Orthopedics. So coming to the first topic, that is in the NCERT he has mentioned about Ernest Mayr. He is a scientist who was born in 1904 in the Kempten city of Germany. He is regarded as the Darwin of 20th century. क्यों? क्योंकि इन्होंने एवोल्यूशन और स्पीसीज के बारे में he has done a extensive research and he has wrote the book that is Origin of Species. He is the pioneer who has given the definition of species. So definition of species is given by the Ernest Mayr is those organisms when after doing an reproduction that can produce fertile offsprings. Okay, example से समझते हैं. If two humans do an reproduction, they produce an fertile offspring baby. Okay, so the generation continues. Example in the cats or dogs, any other animals, if two same animals like dogs and dogs, they produce puppies, those are fertile offsprings. But if you go in an other examples like liger, in the liger the lion is the male and the tiger is the female. So these two animals are not closely related, but if these two animals do an reproduction, they produce an sterile organism. Okay, जो next generation के लिए fertile offsprings नहीं produce कर सकता है. This cannot produce fertile offsprings in the further generation. So this organism is an sterile organism. Okay, this is the definition of species given by Ernest Mayr, and he is the main contributor for giving the biological species. So he is also an Triple Crown awardee. He has been awarded 3 prizes. The first one is Balzan Prize, the second one is International Prize for Biology, and the third is the Crawford Prize. And he has lived for 100 years, that is from 1904 to 2004. You have to remember for the exam these 3 prize names and an Triple Crown awardee. Okay, the world has many species, different kinds of organisms we have. We have mammals, that is elephants. We have mammals like monkeys. We have plants, we have grass, we have snakes, we have insects, we have fishes, we have penguins, we have sharks. Different ecological system, different organisms, different species, lots of species. Now the difficulty comes is, can you identify and name all organisms? Is it possible? No. So here comes the diversity. Okay, the how many organisms are present, the how many number of species are present in the world, nearly 1.7 to 1.8 million. You have to remember the word million. In exams he will just change the word million and he will give it as billion, 1.7 to 1.8 billion, but you have to remember it is million, not billion. Okay, 1.7 to 1.8 million species are present in the living world. And what is biodiversity? Biodiversity का मतलब होता है the number and types of organisms on the earth is biodiversity. So nomenclature, what is nomenclature? You are giving a name to an organism. The standardized naming which is done by using observable characters and identification of the organism, by particularly identifying the organism and we give a name to the organism is called as nomenclature. Plants को कौन नाम देता है? प्लांट्स को नाम देने वाले ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को कहते हैं ICBN. ओके, सो ICBN इज stands for International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, ICBN, and Zoological Nomenclature is ICZN. So botanical nomenclature will give names to all the plants, and zoological nomenclature will give names to all the animals. Now the problem arises is we have different geological features in the world and different kind of races, languages in the world. If one individual keeps the name of a tiger as tiger and other individual keeps a name as sher in Hindi, in Telugu puli, the problem comes is the same organism has been given multiple names. Now to sort out this problem, a standard nomenclature system has been developed. Okay, so everyone has all the scientists along the world have agreed to that, and they will name the organism in the same system so that any scientist or any individual in the world will identify the organism by knowing the single name. Okay, any country may be, any region it may be, so all the individuals will come to a single name. It is called as binomial nomenclature. It was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, it was given by Carolus Linnaeus. There are strict rules for this binomial nomenclature. The first rule is whatever the geological entity, the organism is present, it will be given the name in Latin origin. Okay, whatever or irrespective of the origin of the organism, it will be Latinized universally. That is the first rule. If it is printed, it should be printed in italics. If you are writing the name of the organism, then you have to underline it separately. The word binomial itself indicates it has two names. The first name is genus name and it should be capital. So genus stands for giant. So genus is a giant, so it will be capitalized. Okay, so second name is called as species. So species is small, so it will start with an small letter. Okay, then if the author wants to include his name into the organism's name, then the author's name will be written after the species in abbreviation. Okay, now for example, Carolus Linnaeus has given an example in that has been mentioned in the NCERT, that is Mangifera indica. Okay, this is an scientific binomial nomenclature name for mango. So for mango, the name is Mangifera indica. So according to the rule, it should be Latinized. The language is in Latinized. It is not printed. I am writing it, so I have to underline it separately. Okay, the second the fourth rule is the genus name. Mangifera is the genus, so it should be letter should be capitalized, and the second name, that is indica, is the species, so the first letter should be small letter. And Carolus Linnaeus wants his name to be added in this name, so his name is written in abbreviation, that is Lin. Okay, Carolus Linnaeus, Lin stands for Carolus Linnaeus. This is an example for binomial nomenclature. Coming to the classification, why classification is needed is you cannot identify all the organisms and you cannot study all the organisms. So you go and see some easily observable characters. You see easily observable characters. Based on those characters, you categorize and group those organisms into some categories. Okay, this is called as classification. So grouping of organisms into specific categories based on easily observable characters is called as classification. So these categories are called as taxons. So individually it is called as taxon, plural it is taxa. So based on the categories, if you do an study, it's called as, the study of classification is called as taxonomy. So the unit of classification, the individual unit of classification is taxon. This is a very important MCQ that will be asked in your NEET exam. So what are the easily observable characters? The easily observable characters that are used in taxonomy, is the external and internal structure of the organism. What is the external structure and the internal structure? The cell structure, and what is the process of development of that organism, and what is the ecological information that we are getting from the organism. These are the 4 points that are used as an observable characters to categorize these organisms into certain taxons. Okay, so taxonomy will include, first is characterization. So based on the observable characters, you assign the characters of the organism. That is the first step. Then after assigning the characters, you identify the organism, classify the organism, you group that organism into a certain taxon. For example, Panthera tigris is an tiger that has been grouped into Panthera genus. Okay, and finally you give the organism a name. Okay, so first is based on the observable characters, you characterize the organism, you identify, then you classify, and you finally name the organism. Then systematics. Systematics is where you include all the taxonomical features along with one specific feature, that is evolutionary relationships. Okay, so if you add the evolutionary relationship to the taxonomy, it is called as systematics. So it includes identification of the organism, classification of the organism, nomenclature, and you also add the evolutionary relationship. Okay, the systematics book named as the Systema Naturae is a publication book which was written by Carolus Linnaeus. This also has been asked as an MCQ in your NEET exam. Who wrote the book Systema Naturae? It was written by Carolus Linnaeus. So coming to taxonomic hierarchy. So as we have already discussed, there are certain categories where the organisms will be grouped into. So what is the order of that groups? It is we have a mnemonic, simple mnemonic. King Philips came over for good soup. King Philips came over for good soup. This is the order. This is very important. It has been asked multiple times in your exam. That is, what is the correct order of the taxonomic hierarchy categories? So first is kingdom, next is phylum or division, then it comes the class, then the order, then family, then genus and species. First is kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus and species. Okay, you have to remember that this is an order where kingdom is the largest, species is the smallest in terms of characters. Species have the least number of characters and the organisms are closely related. In the species, the organisms are very closely related, but as you go in the reverse order, the characters become more and more, the organisms will become less closely related. Okay, in the kingdom you include, for example, animalia, the animal kingdom. In the animal kingdom you include all the organisms like humans, fishes, birds, reptiles. So these are different organisms that are all included under the kingdom animalia. Okay, so in this the characters are more, but the relationship of the characters and relationship of the organisms is least related. But as you go along the hierarchy, if you go next to the phylum, next to the class, the relationship of the characters and the organisms, it becomes more strong and strong, and finally when you come to the species, there are organisms are very closely related. Now we will go into the examples. For example, man, human. What is the binomial nomenclature of man? It is Homo sapiens. Remember, King Philips came over for good soup. Okay. So kingdom is animalia. Animalia is the kingdom. So chordata is the phylum. Mammalia is the class. Primata is the order, and Hominidae is the family. Homo is the genus, and sapiens is the species. So in chordata means who have the organisms that have notochord. Mammalia means the organisms which produce direct offsprings. They produce direct offsprings. They do not have any stages like egg or anything. Okay, these are the mammalia. Primata includes monkeys. Okay, hominidae includes all the evolutionary human kind in the hominidae. Example, Homo netherlands, Homo sapiens, all these different kinds of humans are included in the hominidae. The modern human is called as Homo sapien. Homo is the genus and the sapiens is the species. So another example, you take it as an housefly. Housefly is again included in the kingdom Animalia, but its phylum is Arthropoda, class is Insecta, and order is Dipterae. Mucidae is the family, Musca is the genus, and Domestica is the species. So the binomial nomenclature name of housefly is Musca domestica. Musca domestica is nothing but called as housefly. Okay, this Mucidae you have to remember, very important, because it has been asked multiple times. Which organism is included under the family Mucidae? Mucidae, the housefly is included. The options they will give as housefly and different organisms. You have to identify the Mucidae or a family. It includes houseflies. So another example of plants, the Plantae kingdom. Mango, the scientific name is Mangifera indica. Okay, the kingdom is Plantae. The phylum is Angiosperma. Then the class is Dicotyledonnae, that is the seed has two cotyledons. The seed has two cotyledons. It is Dicotyledonnae included in the class. Then the order is Sapindales. Then the family is Anacardiaceae. The family is Anacardiaceae. Coming to wheat, the kingdom Plantae. Angiospermae is the phylum, and Monocotyledone is the class. Poales is the order. Poaceae is the family, and Triticum is the genus, and Aestivum is the species. So the scientific name for wheat is Triticum aestivum. So Triticum aestivum is the scientific name for wheat. Okay. So here in the wheat is monocotyledone. Monocotyledone means the seed has only one cotyledon. Okay. Coming to other examples of genus and species. So Solanum is the genus. Solanum tuberosum is potato. So Solanum tuberosum is potato. Solanum nigrum and Solanum melonginum. These are all Solanum or the plants that are inside the earth. The plant that grow fruits inside the earth are called as, are included in the genus Solanum. And Panthera genus, it includes Leo and Tigris, that is lion and tiger. Okay. Mangifera indica, you already know, mango, Mangifera is the genus, indica is the species. Homo sapiens is the scientific name for humans, Homo is the genus and sapiens is the species. So always the second word in the binomial nomenclature is the species. It's also called as specific epithet. Okay. So the hierarchical characteristics, as I have discussed, when you go from kingdom to species, the observable characters become more similar and the organism becomes closely related. So in example of humans, when you see from the kingdom, it includes all the organisms. Okay, it includes lion, deer, fish, reptiles and birds. Slowly when you go along the hierarchical order, chordata, mammalia, primates, the characteristics become more similar and similar. In primates, all the monkeys are looking similar, but they are still different, and in hominidae, they are more coming close to the humans, and in genus Homo, they are still more closely related, and in the species sapiens, the modern humans, they are very much closely related. Okay. So this is an other example of for tiger. Similarly, Animalia includes all animals. It has the order Chordata, class Mammalia, and the order for tiger is Carnivora, and the family is Felidae. Felidae is the family for the tiger, and genus is Panthera, and the species name is Tigris. So Panthera tigris is the name for tiger, and it is included in the family Felidae. Okay. Similarly, another example for Mangifera indica, it is included in the kingdom Plantae, the division Angiospermae, class Dicotyledone, order Sapindales, and family Anacardiaceae. The genus is Mangifera, species is indica. So taxonomic aids, this you have to remember in brief, because this has been removed from the recent NCERT textbook. The 2025 textbook has removed the taxonomic aids, but this has been asked previously in the NEET exam. So we are going to discuss in brief about this. What is an herbarium? Herbarium is a place where you get dead plant specimens preserved. Okay, so dead plant specimens are preserved in herbarium. What is monograph? Monograph in a specific geographical area, what all are the specific taxonomic categories of animals that are present. So in a specific geological area, what are all the taxonomic categories of animals are present? It is included in monographs. In botanical gardens, there are live plants. There are live plants that are present in the botanical gardens that have been placed for display and also for study by the scientists. Display for the public and study for the scientists. The zoological parks are live animals where the organisms are kept in captivity and studied by the scientists and displayed for the public. Museums are dead animals and plant and instrumental specimens. Museums are where specimens are kept for display for the public and study for the scientists. Key are the characteristics which allow to differentiate between species or organisms. So key is a term where you get the characteristics which allow us to differentiate between the species or the organisms. These are the taxonomic aids that help a taxonomist for easily classifying the organisms. So we will discuss previous year MCQs. Identify the incorrect statement regarding taxonomical aids. So herbarium sheets contain dried pressed plant specimens. What did I tell you? What is herbarium? You get dead plant specimens. So dead plant specimens are kept in herbarium. So he is telling dried and pressed plant specimens, that is dead plants, right? But he is asking incorrect statement. Okay, so botanical gardens maintain living plant collections for reference. True, here the living plants are kept for public review, that is botanical gardens. Zoological parks provide natural habitats for wild animals. Okay, wait, next option also you see, keys are used for storing animal specimens. Is it right? No, key is a characteristic that is used to differentiate between two specimens, but key is not, this is not the answer, incorrect statement. Okay, then which of the following statements regarding nomenclature is not correct? So what type of nomenclature is telling? Binomial nomenclature. So biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics. So Latinization is the first rule and printed in italics is the second rule. So it is correct. He is also asking the which is not correct. Okay, so he is asking the incorrect statement. So this is correct. The first word in biological name represents the genus name. It is true, it is the genus name. The first word in the biological name starts with an capital letter. G for giant, so it will start with an capital letter. True. Both words in biological name are underlined separately when handwritten. Okay, so both words in biological name are underlined separately when handwritten. True. Which one is the wrong statement? Here is a little catch in the options. The first option that you have missed is, we have told printed in italics, but he has given written in italics. Okay, So it is not written in italics, it is printed in italics. So the incorrect option is option A. In taxonomic categories, which hierarchical arrangement in ascending order is correct in case of animals? So in case of animals, what is the correct taxonomical order? Animals or plants? He is asking the order of hierarchy. Okay. King Philips came over for good soup. So kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus and species. Option B is the right answer. So taxonomic studies are useful in knowing our resources of plants and animals, correct? Identifying economically important species, correct? Biodiversity conservation, correct? So all of the above is the answer. By doing the classification by using taxonomy, we can know what type of plants are there in the area, we can know what plants are that are useful for us, so we can use it in economical way. So if identifying an economically important species, it is also useful, and we can know which type of animal is in endangerment for extinction, so that we can preserve that organism, we can conserve the organism and biodiversity. So it will also help in biodiversity conservation. So this is an all of the above option. Which one of the following belongs to family Mucidae? As I have told you, it is very important. It has been asked multiple times. That is Mucidae. The family Mucidae includes house flies. Okay, not fireflies, house flies. Okay. Match the items given in the column 1 with those with column 2 and select the correct options given below. So column 1 he has given herbarium, key, museum and catalog. So first, it is a place having a collection of preserved plants and animals. So preserved plants and animals is museum. So it is C. So option with C1 is only one option. So with one option only we are getting the answer. Okay. So we will see the other answers also. So a list that enumerates methodologically all the species found in an area with brief description aiding identification. So in a methodological order, if he gives all the organisms in an area, it is an catalog. So it is an catalog, and it is a place where dried pressed plant specimens mounted on sheets are kept. So dead plant species that are preserved is a herbarium. So 3 is A. Okay. Then a booklet containing a list of characters and their alternatives which help in identification of various taxons. So if any taxon you have to identify and differentiate, it is an key. So the option D is, so the key is for it is B. Okay. So the answer is D here. Coming to the nomenclature is governed by certain ununiversal rules. Which of the following is contrary to the rules of the nomenclature? We will see the rules of the nomenclature. The first word in biological name represents the genus name. Correct. It is the first name is the genus name. The second name is the specific epithet. This is correct option. But he is asking which one is wrong. The names are derived from Latin. Universally the names are Latinized. True. And they are written in italics. It is not written in italics, it is printed in italics. Okay. We will keep it aside. When written by hand, the names are to be underlined separately. So this is also correct option. The names of organisms can be written in any language. This option is purely wrong. So it has to be written in Latin language only. Okay. So this option is completely wrong. This is partially wrong, but we have to accept which one is completely wrong. It is completely contrary to the rules of the nomenclature. So the option D is the right answer. Which of the following statements are correct? He is asking the correct statements. Okay. The definition of biological species was given by N.S. Mayer. True. The definition is that can produce fertile offsprings. Two species when do reproduction, they should produce a fertile offspring. It is given by N.H. Mayer, true. Photoperiod does not affect reproduction in plants. This you have not yet studied. It is not true. Photoperiod will affect reproduction in the plants. Okay. Binomial nomenclature system was given by R.H. Whittaker. No, the binomial nomenclature system was given by, tell me, Carolus Linnaeus. The Carolus Linnaeus, he gave the binomial nomenclature system. So, this is wrong, this is wrong. Okay. In unicellular organisms, reproduction is synonymous with growth. This is true. How we will see? See, unicellular organisms, a single cell when it reproduces, that is, it divides into two cells. Okay, it has undergone cell division. Now, what do you call this? This is reproduction because it has given two offsprings, right? What is growth? Growth means you have to, the number of cells should increase in size and number. When the number of cells are increased, it is called as growth. So, if an unicellular organism divides into two, it is producing from one cell to two cells. So, the number has increased, so it is also growth. So, if unicellular organism reproduces, it is synonymous to growth. So, both the options are right. So, A and D is right. So, the answer is option A. So, in the next video, we will be discussing the biological classification chapter and its related previous year questions, and also we will include living world some practice questions. Okay. Thank you students. Like my video, share friends, and also share to your colleagues, and please subscribe to ASAN Network. Thank you.